Hey, yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. Today we're going to be doing my comic load for the week, as well as news, updates, questions, answers, and the Andrewcutter Battle Royale. Yes, this week we're going to have a full segment for you. We're not going to cut it in half like I have for the past few weeks. And again, I appreciate everyone's patience with the past few weeks, but we are going to have a full-on video for this week. So, without any dilly-daddling, let's get to where we need to start, where we always start, with just a little bit of Batman in our life, with Batman Two-Face, issue number 28. Now, this pretty much is ending the Batman and Two-Face story arc. Not only does it have some startling revelations to it, but it has some pretty darn good action. There is a few things that are left hanging that could open up for future possible stories, but for the most part, Peter Tomasi kind of ties everything together in a nice, neat package, which needs to be tied together because the next story arc is the Search for Robin story arc. Remember, Ra's al Ghul's kind of a dick and took Robin and Talia's body and has decided to do whatever with it. Possibly resurrection? Who knows? Probably not, because that would be way too soon. But we're not talking about that story arc. We're talking about this one. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. The interactions with Two-Face and Batman are really well done, especially at one point where there is a bit of a revelation of what Two-Face knows and what he doesn't know, which is pretty cool. Some great fight scenes in this. The art is beautiful as always, and the tension is high. And it left off on a great note with a great cliffhanger, kind of. Bad, none. This was a solid issue. Pick it up. 5 out of 5. Batman Two-Face. Next one I think is Batman and Aquaman, then Batman and Wonder Woman, and so on and so forth. So moving on to Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 28. So Red Hood and his band of merry gentlemen have just went through kind of a troubling ordeal with Ra's al Ghul. It was a tough time for them, so they decided to get some R&R. Of course, by comic book rules and standards, the place that they go to get some relaxation, they actually don't get relaxation. It happens to be a cover for a secret organization of people that want to do bad things. Can Red Hood mend the relationship between him and his girlfriend? Will Starfire and Roy Harper finally get that rest and relaxation that they deserve? Or will they have to draw weapons and fight against an evil organization? Probably the latter of the two. But let's jump into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Art is spot on. I do enjoy the art a lot. I think it's kind of cool that Corey has to have some kind of special emitter that or holographic face mask thingy. She basically can conceal her identity with it, but she keeps on changing it every 5 seconds, so that's pretty fun. Some great dialogue between all the characters in this, and tensions are very high, which is very nice. And it kind of has a sad ending, but an ending that kind of needed to be done. Bad, it's a one-shot issue. I don't think this is going to go past too much, except for with who the bad guy is, because I think he might show up in the next issue. But for the most part, the main story that is going on in this kind of finishes off in this, and it's really between Jason and his girlfriend. Um, but besides that, it was a pretty solid issue. I will give it a 4.5 out of 5. Pick it up. Red Hood and the Outlaws is fun. I guess the only really bad thing I could say about it is just it's predictable that when they go on vacation, shit's going to go wrong. Very rarely do they have a vacation, anyone, where shit goes right. Gothatopia, Birds of Prey, issue number 28. Now, to be honest, the Gothatopia stories, the tie-ins, I really don't care for quite as much. Not because they're bad ideas, just because I don't think they're necessary. See, with the Joker ones and the Court of Owl ones, they had a lot of fun to them, and they made sense of tying in. They barely stay on the Gothatopia story. Actually, if anything, Black Canary gets her memories back fairly quickly. And the whole basic underline of the story is Black Canary gets her memories back. She is confronted by a certain individual who says that they can help her out with her husband, help gain his memories back, gain his personality, gain really any cognitive abilities. And she kind of makes a deal with the devil. or the demon, if you know what I'm saying. So she makes that deal and she kind of strings in the rest of the team with it. So will this pay off for Black Canary? Have to wait and see. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good is I did like when Black Canary woke up, the actual storyline that's going on here. I did like the fact that it was, kind of a morally challenging issue for Black Canary, and in addition to that, I thought the introduction of the villain into the story was pretty cool too, because they have been used with Black Canary before, although not quite as much as some other characters, but they have been used with Black Canary before. I'm trying to keep as vague as I can, other than that spoiler that I kind of threw back there, who it could be. And I like the fact that Black Canary is kind of taking risk in possibly making a deal with the devil, so that's pretty cool too. Bad, it's the Gothotopia stuff is really boring and unnecessary, and it's just them going around saving lives and living in some kind of shithole. But besides that, this was a decent issue. It'll get a 2.5 out of 5. Middle ground, nothing too special. Doesn't really do too much, but it's just there, which is stinks because I think if it didn't tie into Gothotopia, it would be a 4 out of 5. I mean, Christy Marks does a good job with this book. I think it's way down with Gothotopia, but that's just me. Batwoman issue number 28, continuing the Wolf Spider story arc. Basically, Batwoman is recovering from her little ordeal with Wolf Spider, and Maggie Sawyer's daughter walks in. If you don't know, Maggie Sawyer and Batwoman are in a relationship, so they're Batwoman's getting all medicked up and bandaged up, and the little kid walks in on her, and it startles the kid, and it causes a rift between Maggie Sawyer and her. So the basic gist of this issue is just Batwoman kind of making things right with her girlfriend, in addition to that, tracking down where Wolf Spider may be. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. The relationship tension here is very nice. I do like it, feels natural and it flows very well. The art in this is very good. In addition to that, I'm starting to believe Wolf Spider as a villain. Which is funny. It happens with me and villains. Usually I start off with a villain, I go, they're generic and silly, and then once I actually get to start to know them, I'm like, he's not a bad villain. Will Spider will never turn out to be any great, amazing villain in the grand scheme of things, but for Batwoman, he might be a nice little adversary. I mean, he's keeping her on her toes, so that's definitely something, and he's pissed her off, which is definitely something too. Bad, none. This was a solid issue. 5 out of 5. Batwoman's title is always on the good end of the spectrum. A pickup. Moving on to Harley Quinn, issue number 3. So this is the Valentine's Day issue, and basically Harley Quinn makes a special perfume, for lack of a better term, for her night out on the town, and she uses his perfume that was made by Poison Ivy, and it's all from flowers that Poison Ivy had. Little did Harley Quinn know that it's a strong pheromone, which causes everyone to go Google eyes for her. And of course, that leaves antics and shenanigans to follow. And that's the basic gist. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. The story is fun and enjoyable. It's lighthearted, but has some great funny moments to it. The art is beautiful. I think the art, as good as Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti's writing is, I think the art is the high point on this. And in addition to that, I really do like Harley Quinn's solo series costume with the jacket instead of the cape, as you can see here. It just looks a lot better. It doesn't have the frills, which I thought were silly looking. The art in this is just fantastic, and I really think they go above and beyond. There's some great action scenes in this, and overall, it's a fun issue. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. There's no overarching story to this, which I think Harley Quinn needs in her comic. But putting that aside, it's definitely a must get. I think fans of Harley Quinn will enjoy it, as they will enjoy the rest of the Harley Quinn series that has been out. The 4 issues, zero. It won zero the first, the second, and now the third, because the zero issue did exist. Although zero issue is not necessary, but Whatever. Captain America issue number 17, starting the new story arc, which is the Iron Nail story arc. So, see this douchebag right here. I forget his name. It's always it's like Mr. Bubblehead or whatever. I completely forget. Um, something bubble. Something bubble. Anyways, he can manipulate people's minds. He apparently has indestructible bubbles to hurt people with. I don't know if he showed up in the Marvel Universe beforehand. He looks like a kooky Silver Age kind of character that probably was used, so I wouldn't doubt that. All you Marvel fans out there can correct me. Please do. But he shows up and he starts screwing with S.H.I.E.L.D. and screwing with um, Nick Fury Jr. While this is going on, Captain America is still kind of coming to terms with what happened in his life, in addition to what happened to Nuke and to all the S.H.I.E.L.D.'s secret area. I guess like 100 or so people died there from the previous issue or the issue beforehand. And addition to that, him and Jet kind of getting along, which is actually a fun and interesting relationship, which brings me to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. The art is very nice. I do enjoy the art. Not as good as the previous issues that I just talked about, but I do like this art a lot better than the art that was beforehand. So, um, Jet and Captain America interacting with each other is fairly fun, and the story does have intrigue. Bad is that I feel as though it's very jumpy with its storytelling, and I don't care about Mr. Bubblehead, dude. He's just too silly for me. Too silly for me. I love the Silver Age stuff, but I love the Silver Age concept and ideas back in the Silver Age. If you modernize them, update them, that's fine, but this doesn't look modernized and updated. Again, assuming this character existed beforehand in the Silver Age, I'm just throwing guesses. This gets a 3 out of 5. I think its inconsistency is really what hurts it, because there's a lot of good ideas that happen in it, just, again, inconsistencies. Moving on to Green Lantern New Guardians issue number 28. So one of the Guardians go missing, and of course Carol and Kyle go searching for them. While they try to find them, they come across a individual who has godlike powers, and they kind of try to help them out with the situation they're in because there's like a rebellion going on, a civil war dealing with their planet and all the people on it, so on and so forth. And it kind of leaves off on a note with some guy going around killing all these gods. So yeah. That's basically Jax. He doesn't like gods. Sounds like that Thor storyline that we had way back at the beginning of Marvel Now. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Some funny moments in this between Carol and Kyle. I actually enjoyed the introduction of this new character, the bald-headed chick. Well, she wasn't bald, but short-haired chick. She was pretty cool, and she was well drawn too. In that, I like the design of her cloak and everything. And the middle part of this comic was fun. The beginning part, however, was long and boring and tedious. It did its purpose, but it was long, boring, and tedious. And then at the end, it kind of just got boring again. So, as with a sandwich, the middle, the meat, the capicola, the salami, the prosciutto, the hot ham, all the toppings and dressings. The middle is delicious. But the bread is just old and stale. 3 out of 5. Supergirl issue number 28. So if you remember Green Lantern and Red Lantern's previous issue, Supergirl got a ring and she became very, very mean and agitated with it. Why? Because she got a Red Lantern ring, and Red Lantern rings is all about rage. This is the issue where we actually see it happen. Lobo provokes her enough, and her anger goes way too out of control, and of course this causes the Red Ring to find her. And that's the basic gist of it. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. This is fight scene from cover to cover, or cover to back. Full-on fight scene. If you enjoy action, if you enjoy fighting, Supergirl is just going all out and beating the shit out of Lobo, and Lobo's doing everything to survive. It really is a huge fight scene, which is pretty cool. The fact that Kara is getting mad and angry, I think is natural because she sends her introduction in the DC universe or reintroduction back in 2004 with the Batman Superman series. She has always been a very emotional, very easy to upset character, and especially in the New 52 where she was reintroduced, she is a very easily provoked character. So for her to get a red ring seems logical. Lobo in this was pretty cool, and I do like the new Lobo. I think he's fun, and I think he's a good modernization of who Lobo is. So I don't mind the changes that they made to him. He's still kind of an asshole and the douche that Lobo is, um, but he can be taken a little bit more seriously. And I've heard a lot of people say that Lobo is a character that you shouldn't take seriously, but at the same time, I mean, there's only so much you can do with the character that you don't take seriously. I mean, it's like Deadpool. Deadpool is fun, but I can't read him anymore because it's just the same old stuff. Um, on a whole, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. A lot of people have been criticizing the previous few issues of Supergirl, saying that they're not good, but I've been thoroughly enjoying them. I've been enjoying the direction that Supergirl's going. It's a new direction, it's a fun direction. I feel as though the past 3 issues have been good jumping on points for people for Supergirl, if you want to get into the character, along with the Green Lantern previous issue that was tied into Red Lantern that would be a good issue to pick in so that you can get the full story. So 4.5 out of 5. Again, I might be in the minority for this, but I did enjoy that Supergirl issue. Lotsies. You know what issue I really didn't care for was G.I. Joe Real American Hero issue 199. For a series based off some of my favorite comic book characters and teams, the Joes, I felt as though the previous issues haven't been that great. And I think the biggest problem is that there's like 5 stories going on at once. Like when I read GI Joe for the past few issues, I've been just not paying attention. And like I said, the reason being is there's been so many stories that nothing has been able to hook my attention long enough. So with that said, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. Ambitious, Larry Hammond, and I cannot blame you because you are a master at your craft. But I think it's too much. It's a little clutterfucked. It's like a chick having sex with 5 guys. I mean, well, one thing is going on and getting good, and the guy is loving it. The other guys are not happy. So unless that's a freaky chick. But like I said, too much is going on in this issue. You know what's not having too much going on in this issue? Animal Man 28. You want to see the climax between Brother Blood and Animal Man? Right here. Tensions are high, stakes are high, action is high, emotion is high. Animal Man is just a comic that's just so good, and it's a pity that it's getting canceled. It's good that although he's still going to get a home on Justice League United, it's a pity that this title is getting canceled. 5 out of 5. Pick it up. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to even bother with the good and the bad and whether or not you should get it because it's that good of a title. Moving on to Pandora Trinity of Sin, issue number 8. This is continuing Forever Evil Blight. And it kind of tells Pandora and the rest of those bugaboos on how they got captured and what exactly got them strapped up to the machines and all that fun shit. We see, I believe Deadman's in this. Is it Deadman? As what's his face? Yes. Deadman tries his best to be the Singing King and does a convincing job. Nick Necro and Felix Faust are becoming more prominent and prevalent characters in the Dark Universe as villains. Felix Faust has always kind of been a bad guy throughout the DC universe since his appearance in, I believe, Justice League, but back in the 60s. But I feel as though these characters are finally getting some growth. In addition to that, Pandora as a character is also getting some growth and turning out to be one of my new favorite characters of the DC universe. If there is a interesting, fun, strong female character to enjoy and read, it's Pandora. The only problem with that, and the only thing that hesitates me for giving it a recommendation to new readers, which sucks, is Pandora's tied into like everything. It's tied into Justice League, Constantine, Phantom Stranger, and is tied into the Trinity War and tied into Forever Evil Blight. So you kind of have to pick up a couple things to enjoy Pandora to its maximum potential. But Pandora as a character has really grown. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. The only thing I think that hurts is at the end, Pandora Spoiler. Spoiler. Pandora and a couple other people get transported to an island, and one of which we all know, but there's some girl there that I have no idea who it is. She's kind of just there. I don't know if it's maybe Black Orchid that just has her mask off. I don't know. So that's, I want to say, or maybe it's just another spellcaster that I overlooked. Possibly. But in either case, 4 out of 5. Enjoyable. Pick it up. And finally, last two issues, Wonder Woman issue number 28. This is again continuing the firstborn getting tortured by Apollo, but at the same time, the firstborn decides, you know what, I'm not going to take his shit, and starts beating up Apollo himself. Wonder Woman's on the hunt with Artemis, Hera, and Hermes to get Zola back along with her child. And is Wonder Woman ready for the Minotaur? Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good, everything. I know that sounds like a cop out, but art, storytelling, tension, drama, feeling, action, everything is great in this. Bad, nothing. This is a 5 out of 5 issue in which you should pick up. Moving on to the final issue we have this week is Justice League issue number 28. Um, the Metal Men are the feature of this issue, and a really nice cover. Really nice cover. What I've been happy about is how Justice League has been a consistent comic, even though all of its members are not on it. That makes sense. It's either tied into Forever Evil very well, or it's done a very good job showcasing Cyborg, or it's done a very good job showcasing new characters such as the Metal Man. Good about this gives a. I was never a big fan of the Metal Man beforehand, probably because I don't know. I can't even tell you. I just was never a big fan of them. Them and Chemical and all that stuff. Here we get to see the Metal Men and we get to see the new origin, new growth, and how they are different and have their unique personalities and how they're created, and which is pretty cool. In addition to that, we can see how they're going to have a bigger part in the DC universe from this part onwards, and how Cyborg will be instrumental in helping that happen, along with Dr. Magnus. Uh, Good is, like I said, that it's good to see that the Metal Men are getting this personality upgrade and this change and making them more fun and more interesting, while at the same time being recognized and believe the Metal Men. I think the only one that goes through major changes per se, personality-wise, is Gold, who is more of a surfer bro kind of dude. But putting that aside, maybe not surfer bro, maybe like frat boy kind of bro with like 5 collars popped out bro kind of guy. But everyone else, from what I can remember, they are all their same characters, only amplified a bit. So I did enjoy that. And I felt this does a very good job, justice wise, giving the Metal Men a backstory. Bad is I would have liked to see a little bit more Cyborg in this, and I know a lot of you guys are probably saying that's a little selfish of me, but I really did love Cyborg's previous issue with Justice League, and it would have been nice to kind of get a little bit more of him because out of all the Justice League, I feel as though Cyborg's the one that really hasn't had the most love, per se. So it would have been nice to see more of him. And Chemical shows up and he gets cool backstory too, which again leaves some stuff hanging on exactly what's going to happen with the Metal Man. This is going to get a 4 out of 5. Really solid, strong backstory for the Metal Man. I look forward to seeing more of them. Justice League is a fun title to read at all times. Time for my picks of the week. And they are going to be quite obvious if you listened to anything I was saying. Number 3 goes to Justice League. Like I just said, good introduction of the Metal Men, and I thought it's also a nice, not jumping on point, but maybe re-entering point for people that have been reading Justice League and kind of dropped it because of Forever Evil. A good place to jump right back on. Animal Man. This is just fantastic. The fight between Brother Blood and the story on a whole. Animal Man is a pity it's getting canceled, but it's definitely a pick that you need to get. Especially people that have been reading it for a while and you haven't read it for whatever reason. Shame on you. But number one goes to Wonder Woman. Uh, this is arguably my new favorite run on Wonder Woman. While I do love the Greg Rucka run and the George Perez run, they will always have a special place in my heart. Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang has been working magic with Wonder Woman here. And it was great because in an interview with Brian Azzarello, he said, well, one of the things we did is we made Wonder Woman a god, and now the Trinity is complete. You have a human, you have an alien, you have the god. It's kind of cool. So those are my picks of the week. Pretty good week for comics, short week. I did also get Deja Thoris, issue number 36, I think, and Batman 66, but I am currently behind on those. As for news and updates, so we get more casting for the Gotham PD or Gotham TV show that's going to be happening. In addition to that, we also have some casting for the Fantastic Four movies. So I don't really have too much of a strong opinion on either because I haven't really looked into them, and I don't know what kind of tone they're going to do with this new TV show or where they're really going to be going with the new Fantastic Four movies. So we'll have to wait and see on both of them, but that has been going on. Video game wise, I had completed Prince of Persia Forgotten Sands for the Nintendo Wii, which was one of my um, backlog kind of games that I needed to play, but I just haven't been playing because of time. But I played it, and I thought it was going to be shit. And I hate saying this because it was going to be the inferior version of the Xbox or the PlayStation version, if there was a PlayStation version. I know there was an Xbox version, but either there, I thought it was going to be bad. It turned out to be fantastic. It wasn't even the same version. It was completely different with its own story. What I liked about it is it was a story of the prince that's going out being swashbuckling in. You get these creation powers that were really fun and interesting in it. It earned a place on my shelf of video games. I'm also playing Bravely Default, and I just started playing Red Steel 2. So we're gonna see how that game goes. So I'm almost done with all my Wii games. After Red Steel 2, I have to beat Punch Out, which I kind of stopped because it got tough. And then I have to play Castlevania Judgment, and then I would have completed every Wii game that I bought, all the good ones. So that's good, and then I can get back onto because I'm looking at my 3DS right now. I have Project Cross Zone to complete. I'm like halfway through that. I have Bravely Default to complete. Pokemon X and Y. I just had to trade the Pokemon, and then I would have got a complete Pokedex. But that's when I actually get another 3DS to use. My friend's is broken, so I have to wait for my other friends to bring his 3DS over. But I can wait on that. Patience is a virtue. I have Luigi Dark Moon to complete, and yeah, and Scribblenauts Unmasked. And then there's also going to be like the new Professor Layton that's coming out, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So there's a couple games coming out too. So, but I'm very happy because I'm getting caught up with my games. Because when I went on my honeymoon, I wasn't caught up. There was a lot of games that I need to beat and play. But I'm very glad because I'm getting caught up on them. I'm looking at them now, and I'm happy because again, I had a lot of games that just needed to be played. But yeah, that's games. Not too much comic book wise news, except for we've got some stuff for the solicits for May. Is it March, April, May? Yeah. And we find out that Future is Now story arc, which introduces Batman Beyond into the DC universe, I guess is set 5 years in the future. So is Batman Beyond going to be 5 years in the future? Is it going to be alternate universe? What's going to happen with that? Interesting stuff. So that has also been pulled up for the solicits. I didn't look at the Marvel solicits because I know it sounds bad, but I just don't really care too much at all. And yeah, that's about all I can think of. Power Rangers Super Mega Force came out too. I'm almost done watching Power Rangers Mega Force. I have one more episode to go. So I'm in a big Power Ranger mood. big. And there's also at the toy fair, there's been a lot of new figures that were shown. In addition to the Red Hood and the Outlaw figures that we saw a while back, we're also getting a Nightwing figure, a Batgirl figure for the DC Collectibles. We're getting DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series and Catwoman Batman the Animated Series figure. So those are pretty cool, along with other things. And the reason why I brought it up is Power Rangers. We're finally getting a Legacy Dragon Zord, like 4 years later from the 2010 line, and we're getting a Legacy Titanus reissued because he came out earlier. Then we're getting the gold morpher for the Green Ranger and the White Ranger, and we are also getting a Dragon Flute, among some other new figures. And you know what I do like is a lot of the new figures that are coming out with the Red Ranger has him with the Dragon Shield, which is awesome because uh, Jason looks awesome with the Dragon Shield. But yes, so we do have that stuff coming out from Toy Fair. There was a bunch of other things, but I didn't get to look at them all. Um, let's just go into it. The Battle Royale of the week. And this battle royale is a suggestion by one of you guys. And basically, for those of you that don't know, the Andrewcutter battle royale is where I take suggestions from YouTube, you guys, and I basically take two fictional characters, pit them against each other, and see who would win in a fight. I would analyze their powers and abilities and kind of give you a percentage or just a clear cut who would win. And the fun thing about this is all opinion. You can disagree, which is fine. This is just what I think. And this week's matchup is a request, and I should actually pull up who is requested by. So I'm going to pause the video so I can actually have that requested name up. Okay, back. Omar13Z has been requested for quite a long time for this matchup, so I am going to deliver. It is going to be a fight between deadly female warriors, Wonder Woman of DC Comics, and Red Sonja of Dynamite Comics. Now, for those of you that don't know who Red Sonja is, I pity you. And for those of you that don't know who Wonder Woman is, have you been living under a rock? Let's just get things started, and let's get things started with the she-devil with the sword herself, Red Sonja. Red Sonja is a fictional character set in the fictional world of sword and sorcery and fantasy. Basically, Red Sonja is a warrior, and the female warrior that made the bikini chainmail famous. Now, the reason why Red Sonja has the bikini chainmail is because she liked to distract her opponents. Also gave her a lot of freedom of movement. Sure, creators. That's exactly why she was given the bikini. Freedom of movement and to distract people. Oh, I'm sure it distracted people, but that's neither here nor there. Um, Basically, Red Sonja's powers and abilities as follows. Red Sonja is blessed by her goddess to have unnatural knowledge of all different kinds of warfare and swordplay. She is blessed to be given these natural skills. She actually did not need to learn this. Red Sonja was never trained per se or given any great schoolage when it came down to swordplay or hand-to-hand combat or bow and arrow. She was blessed this by the goddess. So this unnatural ability basically gives her all the knowledge she needs to take on any opponent. Red Sonja is so confident in her skills that it is said that Red Sonja will not lay with a man or be with a man unless that man has defeated her in combat. And she has yet to lay with a man. There's very few that can defeat her in combat. Red Sonja's favorite weapon to use is the longsword or the hand and a half sword, which she tends to carry around with her everywhere. Just because this is her favorite weapon doesn't mean it's the weapon that she only uses. She has various other weapons, from crossbows to bows to axes to knives. Actually, about anything's a weapon to Red Sonja. Red Sonja also has a slight increased healing factor. Not anything extreme like Wolverine's, but she heals from wounds a lot quicker than other people. And she has an incredibly high tolerance for pain. Red Sonja has been hit with some of the most brutal blows, some of the most powerful magic attacks, and has fought in some of the most unbearable conditions and has pressed on. Her determination and toughness is her key to victory because just when you think she's down, she comes back for more, 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 and more. Red Sonja is also a fighter that will do anything to win, and her greatest advantage in this fight is going to be the fact that she will fight dirty. Red Sonja has no problem cheating, lying, or doing whatever it takes to gain the victory. Although she is still considered a good guy, she has a lot of bad guy tendencies. Red Sonja is a master thief also. She has stolen a lot of famous relics and gold and various other nice shiny things from people. But like I said, she is willing to cheat. Throw dirt in people's face? No problem. Kick in the nuts? No problem. Pretend that you're defeated and then come back and stab the person in the back? No problem. Red Sonja doesn't really have that code of conduct or honor. She does have compassion and empathy towards people, but code of conduct and honor, really not her thing. And that's going to be her biggest advantage in this fight. Is the fact that not only is she blessed by the goddess, but also that she is willing to do anything. And the rock means anything in order to defeat her opponent. On to Wonder Woman. The version of Wonder Woman that we're going to be looking at is going to be the new 52 version of Wonder Woman, seeing it's the most current and updated version, and to be honest, is pretty much the same as the other versions, especially since she got her flight back. Wonder Woman is the half god, the daughter of Zeus and Hippolyta. With that, she gains natural speed, strength, and durability upgrades that, the gods possess. She's not quite as strong as, say, some of her other gods, her siblings, her aunts, or her uncles, because she is a half god, but let's be honest, being a half god is still pretty ridiculous. She has speed and strength almost equivalent to some of the most powerful people in the DC universe. Even though she's not quite as strong as Superman or as fast as Flash, she has incredible reflexes, and her superior fighting skill balances it all off. She may not be able to match Superman physically, but when it comes down to fighting him based off skill, she can hold her own. And let's talk about skill. Wonder Woman is one of the most well-trained combatants in the DC universe. She is not quite as skilled as, say, the likes of Lady Shiva or Batman when it comes down to just natural abilities, but this is more or less balanced out by one is her strength and her speed, and also two is the fact that she is more diverse of weapons than those two are. Hand-to-hand combat, Lady Shiva and Batman are arguably better, but when it comes down to weaponry, Wonder Woman's top notch. And Wonder Woman, recently in New 52, has been carrying a sword with her almost everywhere. It is a short Roman Greek sword, which I forget the name of it, the Gladys, I think it's what it's called. She's been carrying with her ever since she joined the Justice League back in Justice League issue number 1. In addition to that, Hephaestus has changed her gauntlets to allow her to summon two long swords of lightning out of the gauntlets at any time that she chooses. She also carries a shield from her from time to time and also a spear with her, so she does have a wide variety of weapons. Maybe not quite as wide of an arsenal as Red Sonja, but it's still enough to get her through the day. Wonder Woman also has the ability of flight, fast healing, and also carries with her her tiara, which you think would be it's a tiara, but she can still throw it. And the Lasso of Truth, which does a lot of things. The Lasso of Truth is considered one of the most powerful weapons in the DC universe. Not only can it completely constrain and bound any individual, it can make them force the truth out of them. It can break spells and enchantments while wrapping around them, and it can seal people in special enchantments tight. It is like greater area dispel in a rope for those people that play D&D. It is an incredible weapon that is indestructible, and as long as Wonder Woman is always telling the truth, and as long as she has belief in the truth, the lasso will always work. There has been a time when Wonder Woman betrayed her truth, and the lasso became rotted and distorted, and truth itself became rotted and distorted, but that only happened once, and let's just say it's because she watched a John Cena match, and she was absolutely baffled by how horrible of a wrestler he is. Wonder Woman's main advantage in this fight is the fact that she is just simply stronger. She is faster, she can heal quicker, she is tougher, and she has the ability to flight. She is a god. A god. Or at least a half god. So, that's the basic gist. Who would win in this fight? As great as a showdown as it would be between these two, to be honest, Wonder Woman has this hands down. I want to say 90% of the time, 95% of the time, Wonder Woman's going to win the fight. It's just because Wonder Woman is just so outclassed Red Sonja when it comes down to sheer power and strength. The only way Red Sonja would ever get around this is, like I said, if she cheated, if she played dead and Wonder Woman, by coded honor, walked away or whatever, and Red Sonja came up from behind and stabbed her multiple times. But even if that's the case, Wonder Woman has an incredible healing factor and incredible reflexes. Wonder Woman, although not as fast as Wally West, while blind, was able to detect his attacks before they happen because her natural skills, senses, and reflexes pick that up. Red Sonja is not as fast as Wally West. She would not be able to sneak up on Wonder Woman quite as quickly. It's just the match is Wonder Woman outclasses and outweighs and out everything's Red Sonja. Red Sonja is a great combatant, and if she was in a fight with any other person, she would have a fighting chance. But against Wonder Woman is basically fighting a god. So that's my Andrewcutter Battle Royale for this week. If you have a suggestion for the Battle Royale, post it down below. I will take it in account, and I will take any of your suggestions, and we will run with it. Sometimes I do my own, but hey, I'd rather hear from you guys and do things that you guys throw at me. So I wonder what you guys think. Do you think Wonder Woman would have the upper hand against Red Sonja, or do you think Red Sonja would come out on top? I would like to hear your opinion. So with that said, and the itchy contact in my eye, we are going to move on to the questions and answers. So because I haven't done question and answers for the past 2 weeks, I'm going to do the previous 2 weeks question and answers. Oakley dokley. Oh, by the way, I saw the new Lego movie. It was amazing. It is funny. It's enjoyable. It was awesome. It was really good, and I'm glad I went. And you should go see it. It is awesome. It really is. A movie for all ages, and everyone can enjoy it. So let's rock and roll. So these comments are from 2 weeks ago. See Matt Bola. Hey Andrew, how do you feel about Batman versus Superman casting so far? And also, which issue would you recommend as a jumping on point for Detective Comics? Right now, I feel as though the casting has been good. I enjoy Henry Cavill as Superman. I thought he was arguably the best Superman. I know. Christopher Reeves was amazing. But for a Silver Age Superman, Christopher Reeves was top. For a modern day Superman, Henry Cavill pulled it off great. Gal Gadot, I haven't seen much of her acting, but she definitely could pull off a look for Wonder Woman. And it's Ben Affleck. I mean, Ben Affleck is great in most of the stuff he does. And the great thing about him, especially after hearing Kevin Smith basically promote him to death, is that Ben Affleck loves the character of Batman. Why not? And he's jacked now. He got so jacked. People are telling the director said you got to stop getting as jacked as you are because I know it's Batman, but stop getting jacked. So I'm quite happy. Luthor, what was the name of the kid that got Luthor? I don't really care for him, but besides that, I feel as though the good guy side, the casting has been good. An outfit I don't give a shit about. I know it sounds bad, but so far I'm okay with it. And what's a good jumping point for Detective Comics? For more recent stuff, just wait a couple issues until Brian Buccellato and Francis Manapul jump on to the comic. That would be a good jumping on point. I think it's issue number 30. So go for issue number 30. If Wade Wilson, if you could have any supporting character for the Marvel DC universe have their own movie that hasn't already, who would you like to see? Also, Voltron versus the Megazord, preferably the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Megazord. Ooh, that's a good fight. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Um, a supporting character getting their own movie that hasn't got their own movie yet. Hmm, that's a tough one. Who hasn't got their own movie yet? Um, Nightwing or Red Hood. Those are my two throws in. I think Red Hood would probably be a more fun movie, but Nightwing or Red Hood. Those are my picks because I love Jason and I love Dick, and I think they're the most viable characters that you can go with that are supporting characters. Michael Kent, hi Andrew. First of all, when will Jeff Johns jump onto Superman? I think it's issue 30 he jumps on. Second, if you compare Robert Venditti's run and Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern, which one do you think is better? I think Jeff Johns is more focused on Hal or Sinestro and the bigger names of the Green Lantern universe. Venditti is taking Hal to some known and some no-name characters as a mixture. Personally, Jeff Johns' run had a lot more for me, in just my opinion. Also, great video. Keep up the work. Greetings from your Germany friend. Okay, Michael Kent. Greeting from America as always. I can't judge the two runs because it's unfair to judge Robin Venditti's run versus Jeff Johns' run because Jeff Johns had 9 years of Green Lantern. Robin Venditti's had like 9 issues. Not even. He's had like 5 issues. So when Robin Venditti is done with his arc, when he's done with his run, then I can judge him. What I can say right now is I've been enjoying Robert's run, but again, I can't comment it at the end or do a comparison because it's unfair to him. He hasn't completed what he was going to do. At the very end of his run, that last issue could tie everything together and you could go, holy fucking shit. And you would have never seen it coming. So, but if I'm going to be honest, it's going to be tough to touch Jeff John's run because he's done so much with the characters. So that's definitely something to take into account. But I'm going to wait till Robert is done with his run first. Moving on. X Valos. All right, Andrew. For years, I have respected your opinion because you tend to give unbiased reviews. Here's a question. I basically have no use for the Wii U aside from Mario and Zelda. I could care less about the Wii U. However, I do love Sonic, and watching the trailer for Sonic Boom has aroused interest in the Wii. But my caution about buying the system for 3 franchises, Mario, Sonic, and Zelda. So, Andrew, tell me why I should get the Wii U. Okay, very well. Um, Now, there is no denying right now that the Wii U is not doing as well as the other systems. Actually, Wii U is not doing well at all. I still am enjoying the Wii U, and I'm going to give you a few reasons. Number one is Wii U is first and foremost a video game system, where the other systems are trying to be these big entertainment systems with going on the internet and watching movies and being this big entertainment system in general. The Wii U is focused on games, and that's plain flat and system, simple. Number two is Wii U has a good amount of original ideas that you can pick up from. Allow me to list off some games that I could recommend to the Wii U outside of Zelda, Mario, and Sonic. Just a few. Looking at my library right now, you have games such as Zombie U, which was a fun survival horror game. You have Sonic Lost World, which is again a Sonic game, but it's still a great game that is exclusive to the Wii U. You also have the Nintendo Land, which has a lot of great mini games to it. Tank Tank Tank, which is great to play with friends. And along with that, you also get a lot of third-party games that people enjoy playing, which are like Injustice, Batman Arkham Origins, Assassin's Creed. So you still get those third-party games too. But there is a good library for the Wii U right now. Is it as great as the Wii was or as GameCube? No. It's still building. There's also going to be a lot of games coming out too, along with Super Smash Brothers. There's going to be Mario Kart 8. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is going to be coming out. So the Wii is slowly building up. And the Wii is also willing to give smaller games and smaller titles a chance. Bayonetta 2 is going to be a Wii U exclusive. And the next X game is coming out on, or the Xeno game is coming out on the Wii U. So if anyone knows how good Xenoblade Chronicles was, and it was fucking fantastic, knows that the next game that's coming out in that series that is going to be exclusively on the Wii U is definitely a game that's a must get. So there's a lot of good extra games. In addition to that, is Wii U is substantially cheaper than Xbox or PlayStation. Come on, guys. Sure, it's about $300 to get, but that's still $150 less than the PlayStation and or the Xbox. I forget which one's more, and then $200 less than the other system. So you're saving a lot of money on it. There's some great downloadable games too, from Dungeons and Dragons, Chronicles of Mysteria, which my friends were playing, or the NES remix that we were just playing. And it seems as though you sound like you're a Sonic fan, which I am too. It seems as though Sonic is going to be spending a lot more time with Nintendo. Nintendo struck up a deal with Sonic to make 3 exclusive games on their platforms, which was Sonic Boom, Sonic and Mario at the Sochi Olympics, and Sonic Lost World. But seeing that Sonic's going to be in the new Super Smash Bros. Game, it sounds like he's leaning more towards Nintendo than he is towards the other systems. Probably because Nintendo's going to give him a lot more freedom, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Is the Wii U perfect? No, it's not. It's a great system. It just needs more games to it. I think a lot of people just don't see the direction that the Wii U is going to. And here's the thing that's very important that people have to understand. And X Valis, I'm glad you brought this up because this is something I was talking to about my friends. Is eventually video games are going to change to the point that home consoles aren't going to be around anymore. That's a sad, simple truth. But with everyone that's on there, playing Candy Crush on their phone or on their iPad or something like that, eventually game consoles just won't be that relevant anymore. It may take 2 or 3 more generations for it to happen, but eventually your house is going to have three. And the game Overthinker was talking about this. You can check out his channel. He's on the Screw Attack channel, but he also has his own blog spot. Really thought provocative gamer who I enjoy listening to. But he pointed out something that was very interesting, which is eventually people are going to have 3 devices in their home. They're going to have their TV, which is going to be able to do their movies, their streaming, their computer stuff, their video games. Then they're going to have their game, they're going to have their pad, which is going to be basically a laptop. They get a mobile device in their house, which is going to be able to do all that shit too. And then their phone, which is outside the house. Eventually, that stuff is going to happen. And video games, where's the consoles going to go? Xbox and PlayStation right now are getting a little freaked out. Let's make our systems a big home entertainment system kind of thing. And the Wii is basically saying, or Nintendo's basically saying, let's make our controller like a gamepad or like a tablet. But eventually video games are going to change, and we're seeing an odd evolution for them. We're not going to see home consoles anymore. We're going to see more of games becoming licensed. I can see easily Nintendo, after maybe 2 or 3 more generations, no longer doing a home console and only doing handhelds because they do fantastic on handhelds. And it's sad because I don't want it to happen. I love the concept of the home console, but the same thing's going to happen to Xbox and PlayStation. A lot of their titles, a lot of their trademarks are going to become games that you can just play as downloads or things on your iPhone or your iPad, because eventually your iPad and your TV are going to be strong enough to be able to download these big mega titles and be able to go with them. This isn't going to happen anytime soon, but it's going to happen within the next 10 years or so. So just be prepared for that. Uh, and I know I went off on a tangent, but that's an important thing to note. Is Nintendo right now, the reason why the Wii U is not doing good is because Nintendo's trying to adjust and evolve and change with the change that's going on. PlayStation and Xbox have been too, but they haven't been able to fully commit. Notice when Xbox was trying to make their system all this and that and even charge people for games, once they saw the backlash, they took a step back, which right away it was a bad idea. But if you're going to commit to something, commit to it. Don't backstep on it. The Nintendo's committed to their Wii U product. They're not backstepping on it. But the thing is, Nintendo also has to realize that they have to have third-party support, they have to have good online, and they have to realize that they are in competition with not only PlayStation and Xbox, but also with all these game pads and all these downloadables and these iPhone games, because people are going to be playing that. So, but pick up the Wii U. It's a good system. Um, Moving on. Kuna Makota Z. How did you get into comic books and when? I got into comic books when I was a child, probably around the age of 6 when I could start reading. And yeah, how did I get into it? I've always loved Batman. I watched the anime series, I watched the movie, and that's kind of how I got into comic books. And my brother, I think, was reading comic books at the time. It's hard because my earliest memory of opening up a comic book was Batman Nightfall, but I don't remember how I got my hands on it. Nick Lenz, hey Andrew. First, IDW has been doing some crossovers since 2011. In 2011's Infestation with G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ghostbusters, and Star Trek's being part of it. I think TMNT was too. 2012, oh, that's when TMNT was in it. In 2012, Infestation 2 with G.I. Joe, Transformers, Heart of Steel, Dungeons and Dragons, Eberron, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Archie and Archie from Groom Lake, and Batboy Weekly News, and oh, there's more. Hold on. And 30 Days a Night being part of it. In 2013, Mars Attack, Judge Dredd crossover. This year, they're having X Files Conspiracy with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, and X Files, The Crow, and now the three questions. First, what do you think of the post Forever Evil lineup for Justice League? Second, do you think Justice League of America is ending too soon since they only had one story arc before the tie into Trinity War and Forever Evil? Third, do you think Teen Titans is going to end just to make room for Batman Eternal? First is Forever Evil's post Forever Evil's Justice League lineup. I think it's kind of cool that they're mixing things up and they're keeping enough Justice League members such as Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman, and Cyborg to make it recognizably Justice League. But it's kind of cool that they're doing this thing with Luthor. I hope it only lasts for maybe two story arcs or maybe three. And eventually we go back to more of a recognizable Justice League. But I'm all about trying new things and mixing things up, so I'm okay with that. Do I think Justice League of America is ending too soon, seeing that they only had one story arc before the tie-ins? Yes, absolutely. I think I said this in one of my last issues, is that so many things were left hanging, so many promises were given and never delivered. Characters were underdeveloped. Jeff Johns basically said everyone's going to be there for a reason. You're going to find out that everyone has a secret, and Argus is going to exploit those secrets, and it never happens. So I do think it's ending too early. Or at least if you're going to transform it into Justice League United, continue those plot threads. The only three characters that are going from Justice League America to Justice League United are Martian Manhunter, Stargirl, and Green Arrow. So come on, DC. Third, do I think Teen Titans is getting canceled just to make room for Batman Eternal? No, I think Teen Titans getting canceled because it's not doing well on sales. I don't think it has any correlation with Batman Eternal. And as much as I did kind of like this new team, the comic itself just did not do as well as I think DC expected it to. And probably because there was a lot of fan backlash for them saying, this is the first Teen Titans team. That's got to be retroactively redone, and the other teams have to have existed because people are not going to be happy. Super Mega Boy 8 Battle Royale Optimus Prime versus Mesa. I will take that into account. Apollo 4524, great video. How far are you in Arrow? Season 1 is really great, but season 2 so far has been amazing. The show has gets better with every episode. I have just completed the episode where Shado was rescued and starts teaching Ollie how to use the bow and arrow, and Count Vertigo came back. Oliver almost killed him, and in addition to that, Tommy Merlin is going to work for his father. So that's where I'm at. But I can't wait to jump on to season 2 because I heard it's been good. Wade Wilson, one more suggestion: Kratos versus New 52 Wonder Woman. It's gonna be tough because I just did Wonder Woman, but I will put it in the backlog for when I do use characters over. Chris, I always pronounce your name wrong. I'm sorry. Gutierrez. Have you watched Star Wars 2008 Clone Wars animated series? Are you going to watch the new Star Wars Rebels that are going to be coming out in fall on Disney Channel? And what's happening? What happened to your friend Doug? I have watched very little of the Clone Wars animated series. If we're talking about the actual animated, not the CGI one, the animated series was decently good. The CGI one I don't care for. As for the Rebels, I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch it. Time pending. In addition to that, until I know exactly what's gonna be canon and not canon in the Star Wars universe, I'm gonna tread lightly with Star Wars stuff. I know it sounds silly, but I only care about stuff that's canon. And what happened to Doug? Doug is Doug. Doug's still around. He just doesn't um, do videos on my channel that much anymore. Doug shows up every other week, comes over my house and plays D&D with me. Right now, he's doing a lot of outside activism work, and yeah, he's been busy. He's also got a few novels published and getting a couple of his works published because he is a writer, so he's trying to get that stuff done. And then you also suggested Samus versus Mega Man, which is an awesome fight. Captain Buggy, Andrew, I'm dropping Red Hood after Talon's run and picking up either Batwing or Batwoman. What do you suggest? That's tough. Batwing is on the cusp of getting canceled. It hasn't been announced yet, but a lot of people think it will because it's been dropping a lot. However, Batwing has been really fun since Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray have jumped on. However, Batwoman has been solid from start to finish. It's tough to make me choose between these because it's really like choosing between two children, but I'm going to say Batwoman. Pick that up. I mean, you could probably get things started with the new story arc that's been going on for the past 3 issues. Felipe 199991. Hey Andrew, 2 questions. First, do you think that the person that used what do you think of what do you think the person that used Red Arrow on Earth 2, no spoilers if you haven't read it yet, could appear on Earth Prime, or will he only be an Earth 2 character? It's been a week, we'll say it. Connor Hawk is the one that's Earth 2's Red Arrow. It's not a big spoiler because it's been a week. I don't think he's going to appear on Earth Prime. I think he's going to be Earth 2 only character. DC said that they want to keep the characters as separate as possible. There will be a character here that will be Green Lantern, a Green Lantern here, and a Batman here, and a Batman here, but they're going to be completely different chaps. Chaps. I've used chaps before. Second, do you think it's a good idea having another Batman on Earth 2, or should he be better as being a replacement as a JSA character like Wildcat? It's bittersweet because I don't think there should have been a Batman on Earth 2, but the fact that they're using Thomas Wayne, it feels a lot like Flashpoint's Batman, so I'm okay for that. They even got the look very similar with the red and the black, but I'm gonna say it's okay for now because it's Thomas Wayne. If it was someone else, I'd probably say no, but I'm okay with it being Thomas Wayne. Cape Detective, hey Andrew, how many anti-Batmans are there? I know about Catwoman, Wraith, Prometheus, Owlman, Deathstroke. Are there more? Great videos and keep them up. You can say anyone that doesn't have superpowers can be a anti-Batman. You can say Richard Dragon could be. You could say that like Shiva could be. It's kind of tough to really say. I would say the only real anti-Batman is Owlman because Catman, Wraith, Wraith also. Catman, Prometheus, Deathstroke. No, Deathstroke has powers and uses guns. Prometheus downloads everything into his brain. And Catman's Catman. I mean, he's similar, but he's more. He's not quite an anti-Batman. So you can say either or. I'm sorry if that's a very closed-ended question or answer, but it's kind of tough to determine what you consider a anti-Batman because I consider a anti-Batman like Earth 3 Owlman. Michael Kent, sorry, one more question. Should the Rogues get their own monthly series and why? No, they shouldn't. Because villain titles tend to always flop. Would it be awesome? Yes. If it was done right, it could be. But at the end of the day, the only reason why the Rogues are having their one shot is because they're fighting an evil bigger than them. That's the only and because they're forced to fight an evil bigger than them. That's the main reason why their comic is successful right now. Get rid of all the big bad evil. It's not like they're gonna go. Once the crime syndicate's gone, the Rogue's gonna go. Let's go back to stealing. You can't have them steal and win all the time. Bad guys can't win all the time because it just doesn't work. Flash has to beat them. So I don't think it's going to happen. And just for that reason, the only reason why they're doing their thing now is um, because there's a great evil. Diablo0034. Hey Andrew, Battle Royale suggestion. Piccolo, Dragon Ball Z versus Martian Manhunter. Not bad. P.S. Thanks for the suggestion on Pick Up Swamp Thing. I will definitely consider it. Brett, oh, you're welcome. It's a great comic. Brett Davis, hey Andrew, do you still collect the New 52 trades while also buying the most recent issues? Also, what do you prefer? hardcovers or trade paperbacks. I have not collected the most recent trades that have come out, mostly due to money. I mean, I'm living on my own with my wife now. I need to save every buck I can. What do I prefer, hardcover or trade paperbacks? I prefer hardcover. X Valis. I have asked you this before, but I must have missed your answer. So my humble apologies for asking again. It's okay. Is Solaris Knight considered a Power Ranger? And damn, the newest Red Ranger has to be the most boring Red Ranger yet. Or in your opinion, who do you think is your least favorite Red Ranger? Solaris Knight is technically not a Red Ranger, not a Power Ranger. He would be similar to the Magna Defender, where he has that sixth Ranger slot, but he's not actually a Ranger. He is Solaris Knight. Uh, what would be another example of a sixth Ranger spot who's not a Ranger? Because I have to think through all of them. Wow, I guess he's a rare breed. No. Robo Knight technically isn't a ranger, but he really is. But no, Solaris Knight is not a ranger. He's a sixth ranger slot, but he's not a ranger. And is the newest Red Ranger the most boring Red Ranger yet? Or, in your opinion, who is the least favorite Red Ranger? The new Red Ranger is kind of boring. He's very stale. It's like they wanted to make a new Jason with no emotion whatsoever. I don't hate him. I I'm okay with him. I'm impartial towards him. Really, Jake on the Mega Force team is my favorite. Jake and oh, who's the Pink Ranger again? Emma. Those two are my favorite on the new team. Um, but he's not the worst Red Ranger. I my least favorite Red Ranger is Nick from Mystic Force, just because the whole show was about him and he was just kind of boring. Because I don't know, I just really didn't care for Nick from Mega Mystic Force, but that's just me. Evil Mastermind, what are your top five third gen Pokemon? Hmm. Third gen. Swampert would probably be up there. Oh, now you got me thinking. I'm gonna have to look through the Pokedex. I don't know. I know Swampert would be on there. I'm gonna have to look at the Pokedex. Third gen. Uh, Zang Zangoon, just because there's a HM pour. You can give that thing every HM. I'm gonna have to think about that. And Green Arrow Hunter. Hey Andrew, if you could direct a Superman live action movie, who would you base any of the specific storylines and what villains would you use? I think I've done this before. I would do a Superman Brainiac based storyline, which introduces Brainiac, and it would be similar to Jeff Johns' Brainiac storyline, with, let's just say, Bizarro in there. Let's say Brainiac clones Superman and there's a Bizarro, or Lex Luthor clones Superman to use Bizarro against Brainiac. Something along that lines. Moving on to last week's questions. Hey, I told you guys I would be making up for the past 2 weeks. So here we go. Dark Hell Skulls asks, have you ever played Dark Souls? If not, you should try it. I have not played Dark Souls yet. Will I in the future? Maybe. But right now, time-wise, I just don't have the time. And also, I have such a backlog of video games to play. Kuna Makoda Z. Hey Andrew, how do you think they will bring back Wally West? I think he's still the nephew of Iris, which what we got from the solicits. So I don't know how he's going to get his powers back, but he is coming back in the annual for Flash. Pepperuti, don't worry about the video. It's great. By the way, do you think about the choices of Batman Superman film? What do you think of the choices? So far, I've been on board with what they've done. Until I see something that upsets me, I'm okay with what they're doing with Batman Superman film. Um, Christian asks, "Hey Andrew, I hope you and your wife are feeling better. Thank you very much. Anyways, I was wondering if you prepared a script for your videos, and for the Casino Royale showdown, Dick Grayson." Casino Royale showdown. Dick Grayson, Robin versus Speedy. I would take that into account. And no, I don't script any of my videos. I don't have the time to do that, and B, I like to freestyle it. I feel it's more natural. When people script stuff, it's great, but at the same time, I think it loses a X factor, for lack of a better term. I want you guys to have like when you watch my videos, it's more like a conversation back and forth. John Soda, I love Little Gotham. It takes a break from the darkness and adds light and color to the Batman family. And you and I must share the same taste. I love She-Hulk for the same reason that, and I love strong women's types. It would be cool if She-Hulk battled Wonder Woman. It would be pretty cool. We'll give it to Wonder Woman though, because she just has more powers. Nick Lenz, and I'm glad, John, that you like She-Hulk and strong female characters because very few people do. Nick Lenz, another great load, Andrew. First, do you think that Feor is being drawn in Superman Wonder Woman like the actress that played her in Man of Steel? Yes, and I'm okay with that because I like the Man of Steel version of Feor. Second, do you think that the current She-Hulk book is like the Daredevil book? I can't comment on that because I haven't read the Daredevil book, so I can't do a comparison. Third, do you think that the first Contact crossover currently going on in World's Finest Superman and Batman, what do I think of it? I think it needs to be done eventually, and I'm glad they're finally doing it. Huntress and Power Girl needs to meet the Earth Prime Superman and Batman. Fourth, did you know that the Metal Man are going to appear in Justice League 28? I did, because I read it. I know, the comment's a little old. Diablo0034. Hey Andrew, question. Do you think that DC will make a Green Lantern Flash book? I don't think it's in their plans, but it's not a bad idea. Or maybe a Flash Cyborg book because Barry Allen and Vic seem to be good friends. No, if they did anything with Cyborg, they'd probably do Shazam because I know Jeff John commented that he wants to push those two together. So does Flash and Green Lantern. So I don't think they're going to make any of those books. I want Cyborg to get his own fucking book before he does any team up books. Evil Mastermind, one of the top five favorite Pokemon types. Mine are Grass, Ghost, Dragon, Ice, and Poison. Mine are Fire, Dragon, Fire, Dragon, Fighting, Water, and oh no, Fighting Dragon, Fire, Dragon, Fighting, Electric, Water. Some of my favorite types. Felipe19991. Hey Andrew, I hope your wife gets better soon. Thank you. She is doing well. Thank you to everyone that has been saying that she's doing much better. So, it's great. So I'm happy about that. Michael Kent also said, "Hey yo, hope your wife gets better soon." Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone. Rad Mess Taurus. Hey Andrew, in your opinion, what's the greatest X-Men story that includes Wolverine as a central character? I don't know if I'm the best man to answer that because I haven't read enough X-Men. So I'm gonna have to hold off on answering your question because I don't want to give you a crappy answer. Green Arrow Hunter. Hey Andrew, first, I hope your wife recovers. Thank you. Second, could you recommend any good Flash stories that are pre-New 52? Third, which director would you pick for a Deathstroke live action movie? Okay, first, for the Flash stories, pre-New 52, Terminal Velocity was pretty good, Flash Year 1 was pretty good, and let's say Flash Rebirth, and also The Dastardly Death of the Rogues. Those are four right there that you can read. As for Deathstroke live action movie, not TV show, movie. Oh, what the hell? I would do Scott Snyder, not Scott Snyder, Zack Snyder, just because he has over the top action scenes. And let's put Michael Bay in there, just because we need to get explosions and slow mo of people running. But no, really, it's Zack Snyder. Tora Cube. Hope she gets better soon too. Thank you very much. Green Lantern of 2814. I agree. I'm getting tired of this JLA story, but I don't blame the writer. He can't end it before the rest of Forever You ends. True. So it looks like that's all the questions and answers for this week. If you have any questions, can post them down below. And everyone go see the Lego movie because it's amazing. And yeah, go buy the Wii U too. I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out.